Jackson Radio Show.
The fundamental issue is my right to choice.
Illinois public employee Mark Janis says from the time a union fee was deducted from his first paycheck, he's never had the right to say either yes or no to having the union represent him. And while he says he's not against unions, he is opposed to being forced to underwrite their political speech. During arguments at the Supreme Court Monday, Justice Kennedy put it this way, quote, "What we're talking about here is compelled justification and compelled subsidization of a private party that expresses political views constantly." For decades, the High Court has debated how best to handle union fees for workers who do benefit from the organization's collective bargaining efforts, but who do not want to lend any support to their political activities. Justice Sotomayor suggested today that it's sometimes part of the bargain. Quote, "We've compelled people to pay bar associations. Bar members can come out any day they want and say they don't take the same position on a policy question as the bar association. Any union member is free to get up publicly in any setting he or she wants to say they don't agree with the position the union is taking."
Workers united will never be defeated.
As for the potential impact on millions of unionized government employees, both sides admitted membership would likely drop if the union loses this case, with Chief Justice John Roberts noting unions would likely have to work harder to make their case to employees.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. I love this topic. Wow. I love this topic. This is slavery. See, the people may not want to put it into the right perspective. This is nothing but slavery. It is saying, I'm taking your money. You can do nothing about it. But as Justice Sotomayor would say, well, it's for the public good. You're going to have to crack a few eggs in order to get to the goodies here, right? No. But she wants to argue that because the union does something good that may occasionally do something good for you as far as collective bargaining or whatever else, that, hey, sometimes you just got to take a little bit of the bad with the good. Is that the way you feel? I mean, that is a very communistic thing to say, I'm willing to pay for the roads and infrastructure of the country is one thing. To be able to say, I'm going to pay for a bunch of fat cats to pretend that they're going to help the entire population of us should something happen in a company, it is completely ridiculous. What it also shows, are unions needed at times? Sure, I'm presuming they are. But I'll tell you this, I would rather negotiate as an individual. Do your job and negotiate as an individual. If you decided that you were a bunch of, machinists in a factory and they were mistreating you, you could all decide, you know what, we're going to get together ourselves and we're going to leave and cut out the fat cat middleman. This is wrong on so many levels. It's slavery. And if it's put into that verbiage, then I guarantee you the Supreme Court will have no trouble throwing it out. One of the justices has said it's compelled justification and subsidization of a private party. That is exactly what it is. Compelled. They should say to a person, you can opt in. Look, here's the thing. If the union wants to negotiate and have its power, and it's got a certain number of union members, the actual fallout is the opposite of Sotomayor, which is, hey, you might not have everybody that joins you, but some people may benefit from what you do. So think about it this way. You go out, you work every day, okay? And there are people that benefit occasionally from just being an American citizen. They benefit from better roads. They benefit from better schools or whatever, however you do it. But the overwhelming majority of us say we definitely want to be part of the system that helps to do that. We're willing to do it. But compelled to do it is another thing. Now, you may be saying, well, Kevin, we're compelled to pay taxes. We're compelled for the greater good of the nation. No question about it. But how are you going to take that and say, now we're going to compel every employee for the greater good of the employee? No. Every employee has voluntarily said, I want to work at this company. That they're not, and I know it may seem like the lines are blurred here, but I think most people get what I'm saying. Being born in America, I don't have a choice. Contributing to the fabric of America, I don't have a choice. I mean, that's what you do. if you're going to be a part of the citizenry of this country, you're compelled to do something. Some of us fall by the wayside because of the circumstances for whatever reason. But I voluntarily go to work. I say I want a job. It's a capitalist that hires me to do a job. That's something I choose to do. And I shouldn't have to be penalized because I choose to do something that, by the way, is going to make me a living and allow me to do some good works. That's the difference. And it's funny to hear people, you get both sides of these arguments, and Sotomayor may think she's making a compelling case. Oh, well, if you're benefiting from the union in some small way, no matter what, yeah, they deserve to take part of your money because you're part of the collective. Well, what about when it doesn't benefit me? What if I felt like without the union, I could have done better? Has anybody considered that? Maybe there are a group of people that go, you know what? I don't believe they got the best deal. I'm going to tell you, I would certainly make that argument before the Supreme Court and say, how do you know they got me the best deal? They call it collective bargaining. We're going to use everybody as a threat. We'll threaten to leave. We'll threaten to strike, whatever. I could get a better deal because maybe I am so needed. And I'll give you a good example. Guys that work on these platforms out in the South China Sea or wherever they may be working to drill for oil. These dudes are rock stars. They don't need no stinking unions. You want to know how I know? Because I've dealt with the largest oil companies in the world who have an oil platform that's down, and they will fly an engineer. They will move an engineer and his entire family in a matter of days in order to save millions of dollars, from that platform being down. If there's one guy, or there may only be two guys in the world who know that platform to the degree that guy knows it. And you're going to compel him to be in a union? For what? He's looking at, do y'all think I'm kidding? These guys, they spend as much money to move these people around as they do to move a band for a rock star, for a rock tour. They onboard them and offboard them in different countries. It's quick. Most of it's electronic these days, but they will pack up that man's house or woman's house, family, you name it, and ship it all from one country to the next. Fly this dude on private jets, his family on private jets, give him a bonus. I'm talking bonuses of $50,000, $100,000 easy, and say, we need you on that platform. When can you get here? It's amazing to watch. And so then what Sotomayor says is, she says, look at the Bar Association. Attorneys must be part of the Bar Association. Now let me tell you why that is. Because attorneys take an oath that says, I'm going to, they got all these rules. I'm going to represent you to the best of my ability. I'm going to be ethical, et cetera, et cetera. That's why you join the bar. The bar holds attorneys to a standard. The union doesn't hold a worker to a standard. In fact, no offense to the people out there working in some of these unions, but the union people I find to be some of the worst workers. I tell a story when I was in Chicago doing a trade show and setting up our booth. And a guy goes, what are you doing? I go, we're setting up our booth. He goes, well, you can't do that. That's a union job. I was like, what are you talking about? We do this everywhere we go. He goes, well, you can't do it in Chicago. So I go, well, he goes, you got to go to the office. You got to get it, union people to come set it up and blah, blah, blah. So I had to go pay a fee like $700 to get my thing set up. And you know what the union guys did? Nothing. We set it up. We just had to pay the fee. So nothing, so they, because it was a union job. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So we get the booth set up, and we don't have any. I was like, okay, we don't have the cord. We had our cord, but it wasn't. We needed a different cord. So I said, well, go out and get a cord. We'll go to Home Depot, and the union guy was there, and he goes, "What you're not talking about going to get a cord to plug in?" I go, well, what else am I going to do? He goes, you got to go back to that office and tell them you need electricity, etc. And I got to buy. So the cord rental was $75. I'm not lying. So I had to go rent the cord. I bring the cord back. He's still there. This guy's just still there. So I go, okay, $75 later, got my cord, Mr. Union guy. So we were going to plug it in. He goes, you're not going to plug that in. Whoa, you're not an electrician. Get this, I had to go back. So I paid $50 so somebody would plug in my cord. If you think that I'm going to be friendly to unions, to heck with them. And so Sotomayor says, well, they can disagree and all this. But let me tell you the bigger issue. The bigger issue is these unions collectively bargain. They negotiate, on behalf of their people. Then they sit in front of governors and say, okay, here's what we want. It is the biggest conflict of interest. And this is what the governor of Illinois said. Biggest conflict of interest on the planet is to have the very people that you have to do a collective bargaining contract with, and then they come and negotiate with you on the work to be done. It's completely insanity, counterintuitive to anything you would do, and that's what we do every day.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.